Today on Crisp Talk, I'm joined by Touker Suleyman. Most people know you from Dragon's Den, but what I find so interesting is everything that happened before then. You spend years building businesses, you see opportunities when other people don't, you turn companies around, and you're amazing at business. You bought Hawes & Curtis famously for £1 and you turned that company around. Still slightly feels unbelievable. But it's amazing. And since then, you've backed and built so many businesses. I think what really stands out is your honesty and how you approach business and how you speak about what it actually takes to make something work. So I'm really excited to talk to you, Touker. Welcome to Crisp Talk.
I'm here. Right.
So, when you and I first met, I didn't have a clue who you were. You told me you're one of the new dragons, and I was like, sorry, what?
That was 10 years ago.
It was 10 years ago. I didn't know who you were. I was completely lost in my own life, confused, as you said to me. I didn't know what direction to take. I thought I would go into fashion, but you advised me differently. And some of the advice you gave me has stuck with me ever since. So I was wondering, do you remember these conversations you have with people when you meet them and they're so confused? And do you think that confusion is part of becoming an entrepreneur and a successful one?
I think all of us come to a stage where we're at the crossroads of our path and where we're going. And I always say this, I say, follow your passion. And that's one of the first things I said to you, Colette. Follow your passion. Because if you're not passionate about something, then you can't really be an entrepreneur.
Yeah.
And I think once you follow your passion and you can get into something, then you start using your brains and how to make it into a real business.
Yeah.
And I think unless you want to be an entrepreneur, unless you want to go the extra mile, unless you want to keep on going, even if you failure does not always mean that it's over. Failure just means it's just a result, and you try again and again and again. Most very successful entrepreneurs have all failed in their past.
Absolutely. And you say to me, fashion is not your passion. It's something else. And I searched for it and I found it in potato crisps.
Well, look, and I'm very impressed with what you've done in the last 10 years. And you've got a real business, you've got a real brand, and now the world's your oyster. How do you become queen of crisps?
Trying, Touker, trying. Your family clearly gave you a head start that money can't buy. Your father in textiles and your grandmother's influence on your life as well. Do you think people underestimate how much family influences you as a person and shapes you as an entrepreneur, even before you even know you're becoming one?
Look, I think family is very important. Of course, if you've got an entrepreneurial family, that helps. But I think more than that, it's a question where if you're starting a business, family is your best first stop for equity, finance, cash. So I think family, I always say this, you never give away any equity at the beginning. You get friends and family to help you. It's really important. And in a way, if you have got a family business, and you can help that business, great. If you've got other ideas, I don't think there should be any limitations today. In my day, when I started in business, there was no mobile phones, there was no internet, right? And technology just leads the way. Look today, I would recommend anybody who wants to get into business to learn about AI. AI seems to be the future.
Yeah, absolutely. It's crazy what it can do. Yeah, so I agree with you, but you often speak about your grandmother. What specifically did she teach you that you still use in business today?
Well, no, look, I think my grandmother, because of her, I went to the fashion business.
Which is quite important.
Indirectly. And I think it was at a time when I was trained to be an accountant, very young, very ambitious, gave up that to go into the clothing business, and did very well until I made a few big mistakes when I was chairman of 2 public companies, lost everything at my late 20s and had to start all over again. Good lesson. Ever since then, I haven't looked back, but there's been a roller coasters. Every day's a roller coaster. You're there to solve problems. Being an entrepreneur there are different roles. There's an entrepreneur to grow a business. to have the vision, to have the strategy, but then there's the day-to-day of solving problems.
Yeah.
You know, that makes you into a real entrepreneur. You know, an entrepreneur is not somebody who sits on a beach and assumes everybody else does it for them. You know,
Yeah, that's true.
you have to be hands-on. You have to be hands-on.
Yeah, absolutely. So you arrived in England when you were 5 years old.
Right.
You couldn't speak a word of English.
Right.
You grew up in South London, no university degree, and yet you ended up becoming one of the most successful entrepreneurs in England. And you've also been featured on the Sunday Times Rich List. What was the moment in your life when you thought, I can actually do this?
Do you know, it never occurred to me, all this. It was part of the process of being an entrepreneur. And you can be on the rich list, you can be off the rich list, it doesn't matter. I think a lot of it depends on you and the values that you've got. And I've got my own values, and I've been in business for 50 years and my lifestyle has not changed at all.
Yeah.
So I think a lot of it is how you want to portray yourself, how honest you want to be with yourself, how you want to treat other people, how you want to treat your staff, and how you feel that, you know, being successful is not about just money. It's about, yes, having the recognition, helping others where you can. So it's a combination of factors.
Yeah.
You know, success doesn't always mean money.
No, absolutely not. But you have to believe in yourself, like you say. Do you think there was people that believed in you before you started even believing in yourself fully, or have you always believed in yourself?
Well, look, I think I've always believed in myself. And of course, along my path, you collect people that believe in you as well.
Yeah.
It goes without saying. And in most cases, you can't do everything on your own. You need a team around you. And I've always made sure I've had a great team around me to support me.
Yeah.
And so there's so many hours in a day, so much you can do. And I think I just follow my passion. I keep on, if somebody comes to me with an idea and I get that gut feeling, I just go for it.
Do you believe in gut feeling a lot?
I do believe, because I've been a dragon on Dragon's Den, that's part of the course. Because the moment entrepreneur comes into the den, in the next first 2 or 3 minutes, you actually know whether you want to invest or not.
Yeah.
Until you get into the numbers and the figures, of course. But you know that, and in most cases, you really are investing in the entrepreneur, not in the business.
Yeah, it's so true.
Yeah.
Yeah. Before Hawes & Curtis, you were involved in a business that turned out to have falsified records and left you with a £20 million deficit. And you didn't see it coming. As you said, you lost everything. You sold your house, you know, did all of those stuff. How did you actually survive something like that mentally?
Well, look, I think luckily I was young enough.
Yeah.
You know, I wasn't married, I had no children, I had no commitments. And yeah, I was strong-minded, support from my family, of course, and a few friends. And I was determined to bounce back really quickly. And which is what I did.
But it's quite tough, isn't it, in entrepreneurship? Because if you think about it, so many businesses fail within the first 3 years, you know, and so many people put their houses up for collateral and, you know, put everything at stake. So it is quite tough to mentally deal with it if you do lose it. Like you say, or make a mistake and it's failure.
Look, I think banks today are really a pawnbroker. They want to lend you money. They want something in return. I don't recommend anybody to put their house up. I'm very against anybody that puts up their house as collateral. Even when they come into the den and say, I'll put up my house. Oh. That's not good. But at the end of the day, you've got to take risks.
Yeah.
You know, and I think risks are taken every day by an entrepreneur. It's a shame that this government doesn't appreciate entrepreneurs and the risks they take, and the rewards that they should be getting without being taxed in every angle. But that's it. If you want to be an entrepreneur, you've got to take the risks. Hopefully, the rewards are there as well.
Yeah, that is so true. You bought Hawes & Curtis for £1 famously, and you turned it around in a few years to be a business turning over more than £30 million.
50.
50 million, sorry, even better, even more impressive. Do you think entrepreneurs massively underestimate the value in rescuing a business that already exists versus starting a new one?
Look, I think sometimes when you look at a failed business, you can identify where they've gone wrong, and you think you can pull the right levers to turn that business around. That's easier. When you're starting a new business, it's very tough. Unless you've identified a sector and a product or a service or something that's very unique to the market. And that takes a bit longer. Yeah. And that's why most successful entrepreneurs will buy an existing business. It's already established, gone through all the growing pains at the beginning, but know that they can do things differently.
That's interesting, yeah. And it's interesting because I think a lot of people think, oh, I need to come up with a great idea. I need to, create my own product or whatever, but you don't always have to.
You don't have to be a rocket scientist. Look, all you got to do is look at what's out there and do it better.
Yeah, and be the best.
Yes.
Yeah.
You don't have to be a genius. You don't have to be an inventor. You take somebody else's idea and you just make it better quality, better design, better value.
Absolutely. So you've invested in a lot of businesses, over 200 or something at least.
Not as many as that. A lot, yeah.
Well, you've invested in a lot of businesses. What's the single most common mistake you see businesses make or founders make, not in the pitch, but in the first year or the first 12 months post
I think
getting the money?
The most important thing is people don't realize that the cash flow is the most important thing to any business. Mm-hmm. It's the lifeline of a business. And I think once they've raised money, they can keep on raising money. And that's the problem, is that they spend money without thinking, don't realize that cash is so important. So when cash runs out, they realize that, well, I could have done it differently. Yeah. So if you are in business or starting a business, work out your cash flow. Because without cash, you can't run a business.
I agree. Like I told you, call us traditional, but we like to make a bit of money. It's important. I love this about you. You're so direct. And me being South African as well, I love being direct. I think it's something that I admire, especially in a world where people just dress everything up all the time. Do you think there's a difference between being tough and being fair?
Being tough.
Or is it the same in business?
I think in business, you've got to be tough. At the same time, you've got to be fair. Mm. I think you can be ruthless in business, but it comes back to haunt you.
Yeah, I agree.
So you've got to be tough but fair.
Yeah.
There are some tough decisions you've got to make, and I find that I've got to make those decisions. But I always think of my staff and my team first. I always think about what are the consequences for them.
Yeah.
So that's really important. People know if they're negotiating with me in the outside world, I'm tough, but I'm fair, and I'm honest and straight. They know if I shake my hand, the deal's done. Yeah. And that's the reputation that I think I've got.
Yeah, and I think you're great. I mean, and so kind. I mean, you've helped me. I think you're very approachable, and directness is actually a good thing sometimes, because sometimes people need to hear it.
Look, I think for me, it's just normal. I don't have to think about it.
Yeah.
It's after you've done it for so many years, and you don't have to prove anything.
Yeah.
I don't want to be the biggest person in this and this. I just want to enjoy what I do, create, and help others.
Which is a really good thing.
Yep.
Yeah. Do you think there has been deals in the past where you have been too tough?
Look, I'm sure. None comes to mind, but I'm sure I've been. Look, there's no entrepreneur or successful entrepreneur that can't say they haven't been tough in their career.
Yeah.
We've all been tough because you've had to make tough decisions.
Yeah.
You look at a business, you say, look, unless I do this and this is not going to survive.
Yeah.
You do those all the time.
Yeah, I agree. And sometimes, you just have to make the best decision in that moment in time.
Yeah.
Yeah, with what you've got. Yeah.
Exactly.
So we make crisps.
Yep.
And you built an entire empire on shirts.
Yep.
But the fundamentals of a product brand must be the same. What do you think it actually takes to build something that people are really loyal to and that's a success?
Well, first of all, you've got to see the gap in the market.
Yeah.
That's the first thing. Then you've got to make sure that your product stands up to all the customer's expectations. Yeah. Whether it's the design, the quality, the value, the sustainability, all the things that customer expects today. And I think whatever it is, you've just got to do your homework, look at the competition, who are you competing against, and do it better. Whether it's crisps, whether it's shirts, whether it's shoes, whether it's whatever it is.
Yeah.
You know,
just do it better.
because somebody somewhere is having it manufactured somewhere or designed somewhere, or it's a serve, or whatever it may be. You can do it better if you put your mind to it.
Yeah.
It needs discipline.
Discipline is important.
Yes.
Yeah. Great. So now I want to do Crisp Fire. Crisp Fire is a few questions, which is very fast, no thinking, just a quick answer, just for a bit of fun.
Oh, really? Right. Okay.
Are you ready?
Yep.
Okay. Cufflinks or a pocket square?
Cufflinks.
Italy or France?
Italy.
Champagne or whiskey?
Whiskey.
If you could start a business tomorrow with any dragon, past or present, who would it be?
Pass.
Not a name, not a name.
Not a
Are you
name.
going to give me a name?
Look, I would say it'd have to be Tej or Peter.
Okay.
I'll give myself a choice.
Choices are good. Or both. You can go in
Yeah,
together. Yeah. Savoursmiths truffle and rosemary or Wagyu beef and honey mustard potato crisps?
Wagyu beef.
I agree. That's a good one. What brand do you wish you invested in and didn't?
There's loads.
Loads.
There's loads of brands. I mean, there's no particular brand, but I mean, there's loads of brands I wish I invested in. But I mean, I never look back.
No, and you shouldn't.
So, I mean, if we look at brands today, for instance, in the States, a toothbrush brand was worth $1 billion. A shoe brand was worth $1 billion. So only in America, I regret not being in, where a simple brand can be worth £1 billion.
I agree. It's mental.
Yes.
What gives you an ick?
What gives me an ick?
Like, something that makes you go, ugh, when someone does something, certain behaviors.
What gives me an ick? I think when somebody's rude.
Yeah, I agree. Rude to waiters and to other people in
especially
general.
if somebody's rude to somebody else and I'm there,
Yeah.
And I see it, that gives me a...
Yeah, I agree. Me too, actually.
Yeah.
Food or fashion? If you could talk about only one for the rest of your life, which one would it be?
Well, I guess food and fashion go together. I've been in the fashion business for 50 years.
Yeah.
I've been eating food all my life.
I thought it would be a definite fashion, but there we go.
Yeah.
The best piece of advice you've ever ignored and wish you hadn't?
Stay away from women.
Oh dear. Stephen Bartlett, Peter Jones, Deborah Meaden. You have a crisis at midnight. Who do you call?
I'm probably the closest there. I probably was with Peter.
Okay, interesting. So we're done with Crisp Talk. That was great. You came into this country at 5 years, as we said, with nothing, and you built such an empire. What does success actually mean to you now, though, honestly, and what are you chasing at the moment? Because you've obviously made a big success already.
I'm chasing harmony, but I'm also chasing challenges. Love a challenge.
I can tell.
So I've owned a brand called Lipstick Trademark for 40 years, and we're now going to launch lipstick shops and lipstick everywhere with 100 different types of lipsticks. So all that is a challenge. I haven't got to do it, but it's just the fun of it.
Yeah, I love it.
I want to enjoy what I do in total harmony.
Yeah, amazing. And if the version of you that sold his house to pay off his debt and had all that stress, see what you've built now, what do you think he would say?
Proud.
Yeah, I agree. Well done, Touker. You're amazing.
Thank you.
Thank you for joining us on Crisp Talk.
And I must say, your crisps are amazing.
Thank you.
So I'll have to have a couple of months worth of stock for the kids here that work for me.
Well, you have my number, so you can keep on calling me for more.
Sure, we'll have to put them out this afternoon. But thank you for having me. And I think for all of you entrepreneurs out there, Colette's own story, which I'm sure she'll tell you about, where she's taken an idea and has created this amazing brand. And my advice now is where are you now and where do you want to be, and be the best at, and focus on this area. Don't be disillusioned anywhere else.
Thank you, Touker.